From trying to get rid of heavy fines to potentially facing departure from the tour, LIV players have lost their legal battle against DP World Tour. And honestly, they've already been going through a lot. You can't say that they deserve it. I know many people are glad to see the downfall of this Saudi-funded league and its players, but things are really bad right now. When you go to a LIV event, you'll notice how markedly distinct it is from a would-be PGA Tour game. There's blaring music on the court, and we get post-round concerts as if this is the Super Bowl or something. Not to mention, the galleries are extremely rowdy, and LIV may have access to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund for all their needs, a fund that seems to be virtually unlimited. But how long can a business model, and it is a business, succeed without turning in profits, especially when it's paying players whopping sums? LIV is massive and disruptive, but it's not a sustainable golf product. Their streaming numbers are lower than ever, dropping a further 23% recently. At one point, streams were barely available, save for live videos on YouTube, and the league has been trying to get local coverage for quite some time now. It finally signed a US TV deal, which sounds great, except that deal was with the CW. Yes, you heard me right. CW, mostly known for broadcasting teen dramas like Riverdale, is broadcasting major pro sports events now, something it's never done in the past, by the way, at least not regularly. LIV also finds itself at the center of many legal concerns, including a battle against DP World Tour. It's been more than a year now that this drama has been going on, but I'm sure you remember the DP Tour's concerns with LIV. Last June, the DP World Tour followed the PGA Tour and fined and suspended 16 golfers who fled to LIV Golf for the inaugural event in London. Feeling angry and deceived, a group of LIV players led by Ian Poulter, Justin Harding, and Adrian Otegui filed an appeal against the Old World Circuit. This number grew, and eventually all 16 fined players were involved. Although Otegui, Sergio Garcia, Brandon Grace, and Charles Schwartzel withdrew their names before a 5-day arbitration hearing in February. Before this hearing, in which Lee Westwood and Patrick Reed testified, the LIV members had already been granted an injunction, allowing them to enter the Genesis Scottish Open, which had been a major point of contention for the past few months. And while they're allowed to play now, the DP World Tour still upheld its rights to fine, and suspended its players for playing LIV events without permission. An official ruling will hopefully come out later this week, and it would be a major loss to LIV Golf in many ways. You see, this ruling means that the DP Tour can suspend players for every LIV Golf event that their members play. Naturally, people like Poulter, Reed, and Westwood will probably resign. These players have very strong ties to LIV Golf, and they feature in almost every event. They can't do that while continuing to associate with the DP World Tour anymore, unless they want to pay huge sums to the tour in fines. The ruling also means that LIV members can be prohibited from competing in DP World Tour events, which can cause many issues for the players, especially if LIV isn't recognized by the official World Golf Ranking accreditation, and it isn't right now. They'll lose out on all their points, and no one wants that. And if all this isn't enough, the ruling also ends the chances of the LIV Golf players competing in the Ryder Cup. Henrik Stenson's capacity may have been revoked following his departure, but members of both DP Tour and LIV would still be allowed in the Euro team. Well, not anymore. LIV could launch another appeal in the UK, but there's no confirmation whether they'll want to, especially since LIV's antitrust fight against the tour is still ongoing in the US, and that has not gone in LIV's favor, to a large extent. I mean, yeah, I know that the PGA gave clearance for LIV players to compete at the 2023 PGA Championship, which means that the LIV players can participate in all 4 majors of this year, and that was great. PGA of America probably did this because these 4 majors would have top players from both sides, and that would be a great rivalry to follow, so I'm all for it, but other things are still stagnant. You all know that even this agreement doesn't mean a lot if LIV doesn't have official ranking accreditation. I mean, you need points to even qualify for events like the Ryder Cup and Masters, and LIV players can't play PGA events, so they have essentially no means of earning points. Plus, what would happen if PIF pulls out of LIV? Think about it. Why'd they want to spend so much money on something that has yet to prove its sustainability? Unless LIV does better in its second season, its future seems pretty pretty bleak, and the PGA Tour will be back as the one and only official pro golf tour in the US. Its members will surely be very happy, especially those like Rory McIlroy, who seem very pleased with the DP Tour decision.
Yeah, feeling good about the week, and yeah, it's sort of, going into what the feelings, the emotions, and everything are going to be from tomorrow. To sort of have this leading into it is really nice.
He was asked about this during his pre-Masters press conference at Augusta National. Of course, the official decision is yet to come, and Rory didn't want to be making any rash statements, so he said that he didn't want to comment on that too much. But that didn't stop him from hinting at a few things though. McIlroy said that if the outcome is LIV golfers' loss, then that would really change the dynamics of everything. By that, I'm sure he's referring to the PGA Tour versus LIV battle of credibility. After all, he's been such an active voice in this whole battle.
Look, and there's so many, it's a very nuanced situation, and there's different dynamics, and it's okay to get on with Brooks and DJ and maybe not get on with some other guys that went to it, right? Like, it's
constantly campaigning for PGA Tour and its efforts to fight against LIV and its players. He's very involved in the whole thing, and I'm sure that this is pretty close to his heart. The Irish golfer didn't comment much on whether this decision was right or wrong. Plus, I'm sure he was secretly happy about it. He just couldn't say it out loud. This case wasn't the only discussion about LIV golfers that day, though. Rory praised them as well.
This tournament is way bigger than any of that, I feel, and it's just great that all the best players in the world are together again for the first time in what seems to be quite a while.
In a way, he was discussing the Masters being the first time players from LIV and the Tour are playing together since the whole ban situation last year. McIlroy said that there was no rough atmosphere between the two camps, and that didn't surprise him. I mean, he is still friends with many of those players. They may have different views, but McIlroy is still friends with many LIV players like Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, aka DJ. They even practice at the same place, and he was really glad that all the best players in the world are here, together for the first time in so long. 18 LIV players will the Masters right now, and Greg Norman is really hoping one of them wins at Augusta. Koepka also said that it would be a huge statement, and he's not wrong. I mean, LIV is going through a major crisis right now, and winning a major would be everything they need to prove their credibility and sustainability, especially against the Tour. McIlroy thinks that such talk doesn't really help LIV players though, because they're going to feel more pressured this way. Pressure can be great, but it can be horrifying as well. That's all on LIV, its legal battles, and what everything means for the league's future.